Random Shark. It's no secret that there's pretty good money to be made on YouTube. Whether that be through sponsorships, donations, merchandising, or just soaking up AdSense, money is a constant talking point for people who have made YouTube a career and want to keep it that way. It's the reason we've heard quite extensively from some of the biggest creators about things like the adpocalypse.
The whole YouTube adpocalypse dealio, for lack of a better word.
Or know about YouTube's policy of allowing you to run multiple ads on a video if it surpasses the 10-minute mark.
And as always, stay off. You thought I was gonna end the video there? Fuck you. I need like this video to be 10 minutes or else I'm not gonna do it. It's not gonna do shit.
In a way, the monetization of this platform is soaked into the culture of what YouTube is, even more so than something like television, because YouTube removes the filter between creator and audience, because on YouTube, your audience is pretty much the closest thing to a boss that you're going to get. Not as individual subscribers, but as a bulk of people who watch your content regularly. And if you do something that a good amount of them don't like, then it's going to have an impact on your monetary state. And since there's this sort of reliance on the subscriber, there's a certain level of transparency that most YouTubers like to have with their subscriber base.
Advertising is the thing that I use primarily as my main source of income. It's what allows me to do YouTube as a job.
And while from a transparency standpoint, it may behoove you to update your audience about your monetary situation since they are in effect your bosses, from an entertainment standpoint, it can be quite grating. To hear Casey Neistat talk about the lack of monetization on his channel, or see Roman Atwood complain via his Twitter, can be quite annoying when they're living in million-dollar houses and you're working a minimum wage job, especially when every week it seems like there's another issue that needs our attention. However, even though this can be annoying since you're presumably coming to the site for entertainment, it's sort of a necessary evil at this point, as has been made glaringly apparent to us by people like H3H3.
And overall, just a lot of creators and YouTubers losing a lot of their livelihood and just getting dinged left and right with this piss-colored demonetization sign.
There seems to be a pretty big issue with the way the site conducts business and its failure to inform creators of those changes, or really, its transparency in most situations with its creators. For example, let's have a look at Casey Neistat. If you're unfamiliar with this particular situation, Casey made a video entitled, "Let's Help Victims of the Las Vegas Attack," a video in which he promotes a GoFundMe page, which he says he will disperse to the families directly affected by this tragedy.
I'm starting a GoFundMe, a fundraiser.
He also mentions that the profits of this video will be given to the GoFundMe page as well.
All of the AdSense revenue from this video will also be donated.
But the issue comes in when this video gets demonetized and he takes it to Twitter. Casey tweets out about this video getting demonetized and YouTube responds with the following: "We heart what you're doing to help, but no matter the intent, our policy is not to run ads on videos about tragedies." And regardless of your stance on that policy, it's not one that's held across the board, as is shown by Philip DeFranco's tweet, which proved that Jimmy Kimmel got ads on his video about a tragedy, so why not Casey? Now this is a blatant double standard in the policies of YouTube. There's one policy for Casey and other individual channels on the site, and one for Kimmel and other big conglomerate channels. And there are sort of two ways that you could argue this point. You can take the side of the individual. Casey and other long-standing channels like PewDiePie or DeFranco made this site what it is. Without their content and support, YouTube may have never gotten out of the cat video stage. The site may have never even caught the attention of these big television networks who now see that there's money and influence to be gained on the site. So when you have these different standards for these corporations, you're alienating the individual creators who are the people who even made this site something interesting in the first place. Or you could look at this from the corporate side. YouTube, being a business, has cut a deal with these large companies so as to always whitelist them for advertisements, regardless of their titles, tags, thumbnails, content, what have you. And while, yes, it's a double standard, it's more than likely not one that's made despite the individual creator. It's more than likely a decision made on the fact that they know these channels aren't going to pull a PewDiePie and try some edgy comedy, because they've already got these more rigid standards in place for their networks. Now, is that a good decision for YouTube? Personally, I don't think that it is. As I've said, it's causing a very clear schism between the corporations and the individuals. The individuals, the people who built this site, some of whom rely heavily on YouTube's ad revenue, are getting alienated from the site because the monetization of their channel is getting hammered, and it's a major source of their livelihood. But going back to the tweet, I think a big issue that people had with it was the phrasing. The tweet uses the word policy, the implication of course being that this policy spans the site as a whole. So when we get confirmation that it indeed does not, it again becomes an issue of transparency. Now you can put this on the limited space of a 140-character tweet, or just poor wording on YouTube's part, but the issue of transparency is a common argument, brought up again recently by Sky Williams.
Well, I think that happens because YouTube's biggest problem are the blanks that it leaves in its actions.
A few weeks ago, Sky got a strike on his channel for one of his most recent videos about the PewDiePie N-word situation. He appealed the strike and it was reviewed and rejected on the grounds that he was inciting hate speech, only to have YouTube repeal the strike after he made a commotion about it.
It got flagged. No, they got taken down and my account received a strike.
Now there's two big issues with this situation. The first being the strike on Sky's channel, which was unfounded. The video did not incite hate speech from the best that I could gather, and apparently YouTube shares that opinion, so much so as to revoke the strike. However, the video was still striked, and according to YouTube themselves, for no good reason. Strikes are obviously very bad, revoking a good amount of privileges when one is placed on a channel, and to have that happen for, again, no good reason is obviously quite concerning. The second reason is another point that Sky brings up in his second video addressing the issue.
Would anything have happened if I didn't make a fucking scene about it? I can never answer those blanks.
Basically, if Sky wasn't the 900,000 subscriber channel that he is, chances are this strike would have stood. He'd already had the video appealed and whoever reviewed it, assuming someone did, which he has his doubts about, but assuming someone reviewed it, there's no further action Sky could have really taken. The only reason his case was even noticed was the video that he made on it. So if a similar sort of strike landed on a channel like mine, or others of a similar or probably even greater size, there would be little recourse for correction because we don't have audiences large enough to cause such a wave for YouTube to notice. Which leads us back to YouTubers tweeting about demonetization or making videos discussing issues with the site. Which is why I said, at this point, it's almost a necessary evil. Because without these forums, it seems YouTube isn't very receptive to the issues of their site. And until they are, I wouldn't expect these types of videos to be any less prevalent in conversation. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Like it, don't like it, let me know. I made this video because I think both of these instances are quite interesting, and from what I saw, the Sky Williams thing wasn't very well covered. And it's a bit worrying to me as someone with a smaller channel who could easily be drilled with a similar sort of issue and find myself with little to no recourse since I don't have the same reach as someone like Sky Williams. Also, I know I said in my last tweet when I tweeted out my creepypasta video that I have another Halloween thing coming and it's going to be late. Sorry about that. It's quite long and I wanted to put a little bit more time into it. Shark pride for life, bruh.